Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post another quick video here. This is just kind of a, stuff I've been spinning, couple things I just got in. I kind of have like this little moratorium I put on buying vinyl between now and Christmas, so I'm really going to do a good job of trying to stick to that. And but these are a couple things are things I kind of already purchased before, I made that commitment or whatever. So anyway, just to kind of show you what I've been spending and all that good stuff. So playing in the background, Anthrax, State of Euphoria. One hadn't listened to it quite some time, so I threw this on last night and listening to it now actually. This is Be All End All, I think, or and Out of Sight, Out of Mind. Good stuff. Oh, before I jump into it too, my contest just recently ended. Analog Brain won first place. He took the Ramones album, and so Zappa, Craig, you got second place. And I wanted to know if you wanted the cup, or if not, I have a small list of some things that I could, send to you in place of that. So just kind of let me know as soon as you decide. Zappa 21786. Mr. Zappa 21786. Anyway, so let me just kind of jump into, again, just kind of what I've been spinning and all that good stuff. So I just showed you Anthrax, Bo Diddley, A Twister. Very cool album here. This is definitely one of my, when I talk about great and fine stories, my mother got this at a garage sale. She bought this and about, maybe 30 other albums, as well as some cassettes and 8-tracks. I think like the whole box was $5. And, this album alone in near mint condition, it's not quite that with the cover and so forth, but the album is in really great condition. But near mint usually runs about $100. So again, talk about one of those needles in the haystacks. So had to throw that on the other day. Also been listening to a little bit of Cure. I kind of showed this in my last video when I was listening to the Singles album. So I went and pulled this one out, which of course has great stuff on it as well. I mean, this is the Head on the Door, stuff like Close to Me and a few other great songs on that album. Bullet Boys. Another kind of classic 80s, I guess you kind of call it hair metal. It has probably they're my favorite song by them on here, which is Smooth Up in You. I don't know, even just the title of that song. I mean, that's just, that's just like as 80s hair as you can get. But it's an awesome song. So that's the Bullet Boys. And the album overall is okay, but I mean, really, that one song just takes it to a must-have. So we're spinning that. Mandrill is solid. Just kind of some good old, 60s, 70s type R&B. Almost kind of jazzish in some way, but I don't know. It's just kind of a feel I get from it sometimes. But again, just kind of some good old-fashioned R&B there. Jimmy Forrest, I dipped into some jazz I haven't listened to in quite some time. This is Most Much, with another one of those just beautiful prestige album covers. Definitely just kind of straightforward traditional jazz here. Some really cool stuff. I did some rearranging in my music room the other day, which is always a challenge. Or actually, I made one change, and then I thought there was another change I wanted to make, so I actually did some rearranging where I took down this whole wall back here in the stereo system and swapped stuff and moved it around, and I sat back and looked at it and was like, I don't like that. So I had to put that all back. I mean, that was just such a pain. But I did make some significant changes, which maybe I'll do in a video in the future, kind of show you my new vinyl wall and stereo over here. But I just thought about that because as soon as I finished that, my first instinct was I really want to listen to some jazz right now, and I went and grabbed that Jimmy Forrest record. But also threw in a little blues, the one and only Little Walker. Remember him from Chess Records. Definitely one of the greatest harp players of all time. Did a lot of stuff with Muddy Waters over at Chess. Herbie Hancock. I'm still not 100% sure how to pronounce the title of this album. I'm assuming the M is silent. Wandisha, I'm assuming. That's how it's pronounced. But this is kind of an interesting album too, because as you all know, Herbie is a keyboard player, and he kind of does a very interesting thing on this album where it's kind of his, I guess for lack of a better term, it was kind of like his psychedelic era, if you will, when he was making this album. And he has this really neat way of playing keyboards where he's kind of playing the lead, but it sounds like he's in the background. And that's kind of the best way I can describe it. But it's just kind of a really interesting thing that he did on this particular album. But this is definitely not his traditional jazz stuff. So really interesting piece by Herbie Hancock there. Another one I haven't really played since I bought it. Listened to it once or twice and it just kind of tucked it away. But Isis, really cool, double LP set. I kind of sat back and listened to this whole thing the other day and just kind of forgot how good it was. But it's a 2 LP set on kind of a marblish orange, not even marblish, more like looks like some paint and water just kind of ran over it. I'm not sure if it's going to show up on YouTube that way, but really nice, cool 2 LP set. Just kind of some post-rock stuff. I'm always going back to my foundations too, so little Pat Benatar. Got an urge to listen to her the other day. And of course, this is the album that has We Belong on it. It's one of my favorite tracks by her, but really good stuff. Heart. This is Brigade, which of course has All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You, a couple other nice tracks on here. Definitely not my favorite Heart album, but Heart's Heart, so you can kind of never go wrong with them. As you can kind of see, I've been bouncing all over the place in terms of what I've been listening to. Little Eric Dolphy, Out There. He's a genius, that's all needs to be said about that. Definitely one of my top 5 favorite jazz artists. Brand New, another one I haven't listened to in quite some time. And I bought this a couple of years ago. Their 2006 release. Nice set here, white vinyl, 2 LP set. So really cool stuff. And this, over the past maybe year or two, has probably become arguably my favorite Neil Young album. Definitely one of my top 3 Neil Young albums. But it's Comes a Time. Every time I listen to this album, it just gets better and better and better. And it's just kind of like, the more I listen to it, the more I hear kind of pure Neil coming out in it. But, that great mixture between kind of the Buffalo Springfield, Crosby, Still, Nash, Young, and country. It's kind of like this perfect mixture of all of that. And especially side 1, going back, Comes a Time, Look Out for My Love, Lot of Love, Peace of Mind. Just honestly 5 of the best tracks that Neil has ever laid down, which of course is saying a lot about him. So, I'm definitely getting more and more into this album every time I listen to it. I didn't show this one on my last video, which I should have, because I've been spinning this one too. Which of course is the man, Chuck Manigoni. He had that big hit, Feel So Good, which is a great song. I love it. The way things used to be. Good stuff. Threw on a Judas Priest album I don't spin too often, which is Sin After Sin. Kind of some of the somewhat earlier Priest, so it's kind of that mixture between, you can kind of hear their metal side coming around, then again you can also hear some of the just kind of the rock stuff that they were doing prior. So this is definitely, I think, if I remember correctly, this was the one, was this right before Hell Bent for Leather, I think? Don't quote me on that, I can't remember for whatever reason. But anyway, Judas Priest. Another good artist I tend to overlook sometimes, Ben Harper. This is Both Sides of the Gun. A very, for lack of better terms, pleasant sounding album. Just one that sounds really good on vinyl. You know, just kind of softer guitar stuff, but I mean, you know, Ben is just a very talented guy, and you never quite know what you'll get from him. So it's always a good one to spin. Another album where I just kind of threw it on the other night, actually while I was moving stuff around, and at the end of it just kind of thought, why in the heck have I not been listening to this more? Smashing Pumpkins. Siamese Dream. I mean, this is just, again, it's just one of those bands sometimes you just kind of maybe forget, for lack of better terms, and then when you throw it back on, just like, wow. I mean, everything from the way they recorded it, you know, to kind of like the, you know, the heaviness of the bass, to the guitar tones they use, and of course, you know, Corrigan's voice. He has a very interesting way of sounding like he's screaming at the top of his lungs without actually screaming at the top of his lungs. So he can kind of take that type of vocal delivery, you know, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, which he's not doing, but it sounds like that, but then he can do it with such a soft passion behind it. And I think that combination with everything that they do is just, I mean, one of the most unique bands of all time, without question. So that was a great album to kind of revisit. Along with some classic hip-hop here, Tribe Called Quest. The Anthology, kind of a nice 2 LP set, all their greatest hits. You know, Check the Rhyme, Bonita Applebum, Award Tour, Can I Kick It scenario with Busta Rhymes and all that. I mean, just, again, great stuff. Back when hip-hop was what it was supposed to be. Violator, Depeche Mode, another incredible album I kind of forgot about. So, I mean, yeah, Personal Jesus, Enjoy the Silence. What else is on here? Policy of Truth. I mean, just, again, Depeche Mode at the top of its game right there. Little Rod Stewart. You have to go back and kind of sometimes check out his past catalog. It's easy to put him in a box, but again, someone that did a really good job of mixing kind of what was going on rock and roll wise, as also pop music, as well as R&B. I mean, he really did an incredible job of putting it all together. And this is say this one, Never a Dull Moment. Just kind of randomly picked one by Rob to listen to. Rod. Last but not least, as far as vinyl I've been spinning, Winger. I was talking to someone, we're making some comments about a comment I made on LJ's video about 80s hair bands, and I even sent him a comment back, and I was like, you know, while I'm sitting there talking about Winger, I actually had to go pull the album out and take a spin, and then I came back and finished the comment, and so this is what I pulled out. You know, great songs like 17. He does a cover of Jimi Hendrix' Purple Haze on here. So again, a lot of great stuff. And last but not least, CDs I've been spinning. I actually held a few out this time. Down to the Bone. This is From Manhattan to Staten. Kind of an interesting piece. This is kind of a nice combination between smooth jazz and almost like house music. It definitely takes those two elements and crosses them together. You know, like in most of the songs, the underlying groove or beat is some repetitive house type music. But then on top of it, you have some of these different jazz things that are taking place, which makes it kind of unique. So thought I'd share that one. I definitely was in a smooth jazz mood this morning. I pulled out little Rick Braun, who is definitely one of my favorite, from a smooth jazz standpoint, probably my favorite trumpet player. Well, hold on. Yeah, smooth jazz, he is my favorite trumpet player, period. So love this guy. So I had that one, and was there another one? Oh yeah, I played another one of his CDs, so I guess I put that one away. But yeah, Rick is absolutely the man. I mean, just great stuff. Loves it. He's one of those guys, I describe him as, he does not know how smooth his stuff is. You know, I'm sure he does, but like when I look at him, when I even watch him perform live and all that stuff, it's just like, I just don't truly think you understand how smooth the stuff is that you play. And again, when it comes to smooth jazz, Rick is the man. If you don't know him and want to kind of check him out, stuff like One Love off of this album, Missing in Venice, another great song by him. What else? Now I'm going brain dead. Laura, another great song by him. So, I mean, a lot of great stuff. But anyway, Dave Koz, another smooth jazz artist I like quite a bit. Together Again is definitely my favorite song by him. Have to balance it out with a little Megadeth. And this is The World Needs a Hero. I threw in a little Night Ranger, Greatest Hits. I know that one kind of goes without saying. A very nice 2 CD set right here. Jefferson Starship and, Jefferson Airplane and Jefferson Starship. This is kind of a Greatest Hits 2 CD set. Just has all their stuff on there, from, you know, everything from Don't You Want Somebody to Love, or Somebody to Love, all back in the 60s and 70s or whatever, all the way up to We Built This City and all that stuff from the 80s. I mean, just a great 2 CD set. I listen to that one a lot. Never gets old. Bruce Springsteen, Greatest Hits. And last but not least, Screaming for Vengeance, Judas Priest. Alright, so there you go, VC. That's kind of what I've been spinning. Straighten my shirt up there. That's kind of what I've been spinning. And again, just want to share a couple things with you there. And as always, look forward to your comments, and we will talk to you soon. Alright, take care, guys.